Testing. Am I still broadcasting? Breakaway. Testing. Underground cloning centers. Testing. Are we still on? Secret space program. Testing. Mind control. Testing. Am I still broadcasting? Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. We also examine the worlds of workplace ethics and education. My name is Breakaway Ray. I like talking about the breakaway civilizations and breaking away from the one we're in now. Did you know you have God inside of you? Did you know you could do magic? Did you know you can contact the spirit world in many ways and anytime? Well, whether the answers to those questions were yes or no, you're in the right place. Did you know I have 3 cards waiting for you? The tarot world has a message for you, whether you're tuning in live or whether you're catching this on the recording. These 3 cards that I'm about to toss for you are for you, a special message for you from the tarot world. And check it out. This is a real YouTube channel. I'm unwrapping and unboxing a new box of tarot cards. So let's go down to the tarot cam and have the fun doing an unboxing video and then 3 cards for you. There ought to be like game show music for this. Dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. Let's unbox it. Okay, hang on a second. These are the same cards I've been using, but I'm getting out a fresh deck. Just to be not only on the safe side, but also to dress up a little bit for all the special guests we've been having here at STARCARD Podcast. Ooh, this feels fresh. Let's get that last card out. Ooh, there were 2 of them in there. Sweet, the Fool and the Magician. All right, let's get those guys all together. There's the High Priestess. Put the book away. Put the box away. And now let's get our friends 3 cards for this Thursday, September 25th, 2025. It's a live tarot throw with Breakaway Ray on STARCARD Podcast. If you would like a tarot reading in the second part of the show, please hit the top fans button. That's what that button means to me, everybody. Hit the top fans button, and I'll know you want a tarot reading. Another way to get my attention, type in all capital letters in the chat, tarot, please. And then I'll see that, and I'll catch that later on when I'm ready to make a list. I do read the chat after the show, and it's very enjoyable. I want to say thanks so much to all the people who are participating here at STARCARD Podcast. It gives me a backboard with which to shoot my baskets. So thanks, everybody. And also, thank you so much to all the subscribers. My goodness, there are so many of you out there, so many new subscribers. If you're opening up your door and welcoming me into your home, I'm going to dress up nice and throw some tarot cards for you. All right, so here we go. We're inviting the tarot world in now to offer everybody 3 cards to start the show. 3 cards for everybody. At any time. Did you catch this video? Then these cards are for you. Here we go. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's totally entertained. First up, it's the Judgment card. If anyone, whoa, I have too much fun doing this, huh? So if anyone caught yesterday's Lost Babe Ruth episode here at STARCARD Podcast from September 24th, this card made an appearance. In any case, here is the Judgment card, where the angel blows a trumpet from high in the sky, and everyone comes out to hear the music. All right, it's kind of like calling everyone for a party. Or maybe it's like revelry in the military, right? When the horn blows in the morning and everyone better get their act together and go line up outside. It's the war on poverty. Here's the 3 of Pentacles. We're all a team here with the spirit world. The 3 of Pentacles indicates teamwork. And then, it sounded more and more like a brigade of some sort, right? I don't like the whole military kind of thing. But I did coin war on spiritual poverty, so we're going to have to go with that for right now, which is fine, by the way. All right, I'm compromising too. Okay, and then, yeah, the King of Swords says, that's the truth, baby. So, yes, the things that we've been talking about are, we're swapping out old stories for newer stories. We're judging the education that we've been brought up with, and we're rewiring our own minds here. And, you know, we're getting a better understanding of what kind of beings we really are, besides human beings, in fact. And we're doing this, the Three of Pentacles says, with the cooperation of the spirit world. And then, know what? The tarot world loves punctuation marks. How's this for an exclamation point? That's the truth, baby. Look at that sword. It looks like an exclamation point. Sweet. So that's for everyone tuning in. It tells me you're going to be tuning in more than one time or checking out more than one video here at STARCARD Podcast. I'm going to come back up to the head cam. I know you can see I'm all ready to go down there with my other cards. So yesterday's video from September 24th, 2025 appears to have been abbreviated. I'm not altogether sure that anyone caught the entire live broadcast, which lasted about 40 minutes. But all that's been posted at YouTube is about 2.5 minutes. Very good, 2.5 minutes with good sound effects. Really, go enjoy that. I'm leaving that one up for sure. And I did put in a request to YouTube asking if there was a way to recover the original video, because yesterday was a classic show. The tarot world was bringing it, and we did a Tarotpedia biography of Babe Ruth. And on top of all that, besides the Babe Ruth, there was a lot of other great information and confirmation about the things that we've been talking about in science this week, about cloning and vacant cities and things like that in the old world, right? So I hope that Jason H. and Julia Anchorhaven somehow saw the whole broadcast, because I want someone to tell Rob K. over at Typical Skeptic Podcast, because it was a great show yesterday. And then I bet Johnny probably already talked to Psychic Liz Cross about it. I want her to know I was hitting out of the park yesterday with Babe Ruth. Anyway, we're going to try to keep on going. I'm going to see if we're still in the groove, even though we got a brand new deck. I'm pretty sure there's people waiting to talk to everybody. I think I've already demonstrated that with your 3 cards. So let me make sure I'm not skipping over anything. I don't think I am. So one of the highlights from yesterday was that we talked about the reverse. Okay, so yeah, let's get this part. There's some new people here, so I need to explain what's going to happen. So first of all, I'm going to recapitulate what we learned yesterday. There's a reason why I'm dressed up like a teacher. I behave like one too, right? I'm going to go over yesterday's lesson just in case anybody was absent. And then we're going to build upon that today. And that's going to be the first part of the show. And then during the second part of the show, we'll get to your individual readings. But one of the things that we're doing here is I'm learning how to do tarot. And yesterday I got a bunch of good lessons. So one of the lessons I got was about the reverse 7 of Cups. So 2 days ago, we did a Tarotpedia biography of Mel Brooks, the filmmaker and comedian who is still alive. And we started off with the reverse 7 of Cups, which indicated that his inner world and outer world were aligned. And that makes a lot of sense when you have a lot of success like that, is because you're totally following your soul's path and the universe provides for you. Why don't cut a path through a new jungle? The universe is cutting your path for you. Just follow your soul's path. It's already trailblazed for you. Okay. But anyway, congratulations to Mel Brooks. But that was like a new thing for me to learn. I don't like to work with reverse cards, but in this case was part of the language that I'm developing for my interaction with the tarot world in front of everyone, right? Next up. Oh, I'm going to have to go down to the tarot cam for this because I got a bunch of cards, right? All right, so I had to do this from memory, and that shouldn't surprise anyone that I can do that. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. There's not that many cards here. But here's some cards that we saw yesterday during the famous Lost Babe Ruth episode. First of all, the 5 of Pentacles. And I must be the only tarot card thrower on the internet who gets excited to see the 5 of Pentacles. Because for us here at STARCARD Podcast, it means it's the war on spiritual poverty, right? It was a message to us as a group learning about this stuff from the spirit world, the tarot world, whoever it is that's confirming and sending these helpful and constructive and fun messages to us, right? Part of my language with the tarot world includes the 8 of Swords, which in my book, my lexicon, says as much as you can imagine. And we saw that when we were talking about, we were asking, is it true that populations of cities were evaporated or moved or vacated somehow or other, and then repopulated with, for example, clones. Is that a possible thing? And the message was, yeah, as much as you can imagine, that stuff's going on, because the high priestess said that cloning is like a sacred knowledge, and for most of us, it sure is. I mean, we think it just shows up in shows like the X-Files, for example, but that's just soft disclosure, right? It's a real thing. It goes on all the time, but it's just not for it. It just hasn't been for us on the surface of planet Earth. But Breakaway race contention is that is changing, and that's why I'm blabbing about it on the internet. Okay, and then the tarot world threw the strength card, another exclamation point about this whole situation. Okay, and I do believe that the Tower card showed up because we needed to, break down the way that we think of things. We have to re-educate ourselves, and we're going to understand, off-world civilizations. We've got to get a better idea of what came before us, and that also requires us to look inward and figure out who we really are. We're not just who we are programmed to be. It's not just our name on the driver's license. Okay, I understand, but that's not the only thing. That's like an avatar in a video game there. All right, and then next up, we were talking about clones and new bodies, and we got the Ace of Cups. And of course, on the Ace of Cups, it actually says new baby on the card, right? Here we were just talking about the Judgment card. And I saw this yesterday when we were talking about repopulating the cities with clones. And look at the imagery there, all the brand new bodies, marching to Detroit, Michigan, for example, because they can hear the music of Motown. Yeah, nice. All right. And then we saw the Chariot card and talking about moving forward with this information, because we're going to be moving forward anyway. So we might as well look out the window, start reading the signs so we know where we're going. Okay. Oh, yeah. You're watching STARCARD podcast. All right. So that was part of what we covered yesterday. And then I wanted to show you the Babe Ruth cards. Check this out. Oh, those are some cool baseball cards I was showing you all yesterday. Hey, let me set these aside a second, please. Yeah, I used to collect baseball cards when I was a kid. This is not a card that I collected. My cousin gave this to me in the Bronx. And this is not like a really expensive, collector's edition Babe Ruth card. I don't know how my cousin got it, but, this was like printed it could have been printed in the 90s. Of course, it's a black and white photo, Babe Ruth. Okay. But I kept it as a souvenir of being in the Bronx and of my cousin, who I haven't seen pretty much since then. I don't go back east a lot anymore. He's a grown man, but he was a cool kid to give me this Babe Ruth card. But anyway, we were and I didn't think to take this out yesterday, huh? So check it out. Some of the cards we saw yesterday when we were talking about Babe Ruth, the 5 of Swords. And in case we don't get to see the video again, I pointed out that it looked like Babe Ruth at the plate because he's a lefty, right? And so that's what his stance would look like. Just add another 75 pounds there. And I pretended that was like Lou Gehrig on deck back there, turning his back to him because, you know what? Lou Gehrig had a work ethic, and Babe Ruth had a fun ethic. Let's just put it that way. They didn't always get along. Although for the cameras and stuff, those guys were really good about, public image. We could say that for sure. After all, one of the rules in the Yankee organization is, or used to be, no facial hair, right? So everybody's doing it, to save face and look good in front of everybody in public. So, and then, our little biography, our Tarotpedia voyage to take a look at Babe Ruth was taking another look at him through the spirit world, the prism of the spirit world. And then when we got to his inner world, this card showed up first, which is the 6 of Wands. And the 6 of Wands is all about public recognition, which suggested to me that the great fame and celebration of Babe Ruth throughout the 20th century, throughout the whole 20th century, and hopefully even still today, he was quite a phenomenon, okay, was something that he planned for before he came down to incarnate on Earth. So those were some of the lessons that, if we don't get to see the video, you just got the Reader's Digest version, okay? Speaking of Reader's Digest, my family used to live nearby, their branch out there in New York. So Babe Ruth's card gets to stay over here now. And now I got my tarot deck, and I want to check my notes because I want to make sure I got everything covered here. Thanks, everybody. I can see we're recording. All right, cool. People are watching. I see the soda bubble hearts that, I know there's live action going on. So thanks a lot, everybody. Oh, yeah. Let's check out the new light bulb. Oh, see, It doesn't look like I've been living in Chernobyl for 25 years. I got a new incandescent bulb. Incandescent bulb. You can get them at hardware stores. I'm sure you can find them online, but for sure they're phasing them out. I say get them while you can. I got one of those fancy ones that goes on my mother-daughter lampstand here. All right. No, I feel much better now. Sweet. Okay, so, right, I'm going to go. Okay, so there's a joke. I'd like to start with a joke, right? And the joke goes like this. There's an old fish and a new fish. Maybe you've heard this joke before. Okay, so there's an old fish and a new fish. And the old fish swims up to the new fish and says, how's the water? And the new fish says, what's water? All right. So I want to start with that as like a little analogy to what I want to talk about. And then in a few minutes, we're going to get to your tarot throws, but I got a tarot throw I want to do myself, right? So first of all, I've often acquainted life of humans, to being in an aquarium. Only in this aquarium, we should be able to see through the wall and see the outside room around us, but we don't because someone's put wrapping paper around it, and maybe we only see like a small part or something like that, right? So that's kind of where we're at right now. There really is a world around us, a spirit world around us, but it's being blocked off by frequencies. I'll just say the word frequencies. You could do your own homework on your social media and figure out all the ways that our senses, not just the first five, right, but all the other ones, the way our pineal gland operates, all that stuff is being interrupted by frequencies designed to interrupt that stuff, right? To disrupt us from accessing our real magic. So anyway, I think I have another comparison there. Yeah, it's almost like, well, we have to consider our lives here on Earth in many ways like we're just characters in a video game for sure. I mean, in one game, we might choose to be like, the male hero character or what have you. And then when that game ends, maybe you go out to the fridge, get a snack and a drink, you come back and you choose a different avatar to play with. And that's the whole concept of reincarnation in lots of ways. I think there's some good news I think there is some good news and bad news about reincarnation, which also involves transfer of consciousness. And one of them is that things seem to be getting digitized in that department. And we'll just stop there with the good news so I don't get off track on my notes here. Let's see what else I got to say or had to say before I turn on the camera. Yeah, there we go. So basically, I just want to say, we are all new fish just figuring out life in the aquarium. We're like the new fish, and all of a sudden we're figuring out what water is, or how about what plasma is, or what the spirit world is, and what our intention does, and all the magic we create all the time, but we're not even paying attention to it. Okay, and I like to invite everyone to pay attention to whatever they're paying attention to. So now I have my lesson plans, right, from yesterday and today for the whole week, just to prove I do my homework, everybody, right? So I want to make sure I can repeat some of the great sentences from yesterday in case we don't get to see them again or hear them again. One of them was, let's see, we talked about the city of Dresden in the book Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. We also talked about the stories that Secret Space Program experiencers Chris O'Connor and John Whitberg told about the actual transferring of thousands upon thousands of consciousnesses from cities in the face of disaster. In one they used cloning, and the other they were just saving those souls from being evaporated in atomic blasts in Japan. And by the way, we didn't get a chance to talk about the firebombing of Tokyo. That's another story that deserves another look. We didn't talk about it in yesterday's Lost Babe Ruth video, but there's a video called Loose Change 9/11, and they talked to Robert Strange McNamara, and he was like, in charge of that kind of stuff way back when. Anyway, don't want to get off target. Come on, Breakaway Ray, stay on the notes. Wait a second, please. All right, do I got it all? Okay, all right, so today, we're going to talk about the incubators, the orphan trains, and we want to talk about the mud floods again, right? So yesterday, in case you missed it, this is so funny. I was supposed to get a copy of my book, and it's not here. In the description, you'll see that there's a book called The Convoluted Autobiography by R. Snow. That's me. And in that book, I talk about a conversation I had with my grandfather where he talks about mud floods. My grandfather was born in 1907. And otherwise, I would not have known anything about mud floods until after the internet came out and I heard that there were domes on the moon. So, that's a good 50 years or whatever. Something else that came up, just from browsing stories about the World's Fairs was that there were incubators and incubator babies. And then there were orphan trains. And it was curious, where did all the babies come from? Seemed kind of hard to explain. And then, let's see, there was... So anyway, if you think about it and you put some knowledge together there, just about every city that has an old world building in it has an underground. For example, there's a city in Wisconsin, starts with a letter A, and I never heard of this city until I saw a Secret Space program experiencer talk about it, and one of his initials is an A. And in any case, this town in Wisconsin, okay, has an underground, and there's clone factories there. So the story goes. I clicked the entertainment button, by the way, when I went live. So we're all just having fun. This is for entertainment purposes only. Also, I live in the Los Angeles area. I visited the J. Paul Getty Museum this summer. And there's some stories about what's underneath there. I saw a video from John Lear. He was doing an interview on some show, and he was talking about how there's actually, submarines that go underneath the continental shelf from California all the way to Nevada. And there's actually naval bases out there in Nevada in the middle of the desert because, they've built and constructed an elevator shaft all the way down to where those submarines can connect. You can actually travel by submarine underneath the entire United States, according to John Lear. Well, excuse me. The second part I didn't hear from John Lear. I heard that from another person recently. I want to say it was Gene Decode. So anyway, check my notes here because that's a lot of weird, crazy stuff we're talking about. But anyway, you got a bunch of orphans basically taking care of each other on trains that were phenomenally built, during the time of the United States Civil War and Reconstruction, without electricity and power tools and gasoline vehicles. Somehow all these train tracks were laid out across the country. Okay. And then all of a sudden you got trains with cars filled with children, and they're just kind of stopping along the way, along the prairie in the Midwest, on their way out to the West Coast as President Polk in his manifest destiny led the charge to take over the continent. Right. So, I talked about that part. So what I want to see, I want to just double check my notes. I think I'm ready for a tarot throw here. I'm ready to invite the tarot world to comment on all these things that I've been discussing and being a blowhard about. Let's see what it says here. Yeah. It is part of history, the Noah's flood, and the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the Tower of Babel. You're talking about like a collapse of a civilization. And then when you look at the fires of the 1800s around the world, and certainly across North America, it looks like an alien invasion. You see some of those pictures, stone is melting, stone is knocked down. How do you knock down a stone building during the Civil War? It's like Howdy McCoskey said, go look at my description for that Howdy McCoskey video. You just sit there with a cannon and you light it and you explode it at the same wall over and over and over again. That doesn't make sense. Okay, the damage that was created back then, as well as the architecture, doesn't match the story. So it's very likely that we've survived, or we've come to a planet that's been taken over, and now we get to reclaim that knowledge because the rest of the solar system and the galaxy is waiting for us. So I would have liked to invite the tarot world to comment on those things I had to say. So I'm going to take us down to the tarot cam, and I'm going to say we're doing good time today. I was a little long yesterday. A little too long for YouTube, maybe. but thank goodness I'm old enough to do this. I know I look a little young, right? So, hey, Tarot World, fresh deck. This is so awesome. Yesterday, the Tarot World had something to say, basically a confirmation about this missing history that we just talked about again just now. I say we talked about it was a monologue, right? Extemporaneous, stream of consciousness, trying to stay on target. And now maybe the Tarot World would like to offer a further thought. Is there something else you'd like for us to focus on regarding this subject? We're trying to connect previous hidden knowledge with contemporary, and quote unquote future knowledge, meaning, what the rest of the solar system is doing around us. What's going on in the rest of the galaxy and even other galaxies. There's humans in other galaxies, humans from Earth. That's amazing. But anyway, they go around to each of these planets and just populate them with brand new humans. That's amazing. That would really alter healthcare. Yeah. Well, Tarot World, we invite you to offer us another message about this. Another message about removing populations from cities. Wow. Okay, all right. And repopulating them with clones. Like, what do you think is going on in Manhattan? Please. Under Manhattan, yeah. Well, of course, when you privatize it, that means that you don't have to tell the public about it, and it can be maintained as military secrets. Anyway, you can tell this is entertainment purposes only. I'm like writing out loud Arthur C. Clarke books in my mind. Okay, this sounds total science fiction. Sounds like 1/5 of all the movies and televisions that are out nowadays about cloning and transferring of consciousness. Here we go. So here is the Queen of Cups. I would say the expression that comes to mind would be to show great care. To show great care. Let's see if this works. Compassion, comfort, calm, nurturing, healing, emotionally stable, intuitive, and caring. Yeah, you would have to be intuitive to know that this is an issue and that it could require healing. So we're going to approach it in a calm way. Maybe we're on the right path. I always like to turn everything into a positive. I know. It's like my downfall, isn't it? Okay, and then the Eight of Pentacles suggests that there's some hard work involved. Show great care, do some hard work, diligence, passion, high standards, apprenticeship, mastery, skill development, repetitive tasks. I think it's okay for us to have high standards. Okay, show great care, but have high standards. Be firm and friendly. You can still communicate and be diplomatic, which is what we're trying to do. If you want people to be upset about the whole cloning and the hidden technology, there's plenty of websites and channels that you could visit for that. But over here, we're going to show calmness and we're going to show friendliness, but we're going to be firm and we're going to show high standards. Okay. On this subject, which, we're talking about, well, you know what we're talking about. Let's continue with our message. Yeah. Well, the whole world is involved in the war on spiritual poverty. And the Wheel of Fortune says it's destiny. It is time for us to show great care and leadership and high standards to the whole world in the war on spiritual poverty, because it's our destiny. So that's a confirmation that, you know what, if no one else is approving our conversations today, the spirit world is. And I think that that's all that matters. That was pretty cool. Hitting one out of the park, Tarot World. Thanks a lot. Now, let's check out your second sentence. How awesome. Next up, the Seven of Swords suggests that something is hidden. And the Page of Pentacles talks about a new opportunity. I think everyone else is anticipating what I want to say. Okay. Ooh, the Two of Pentacles says there's multiple priorities. Well, there's multiple ways to look at where we really live. We are who our driver's license number says we are, but we are also immortal spiritual beings leading a temporary human existence. We are also the video game player, not just the avatar. How much fun is it when you are the video game player and you connect with other video game players, right? Then you have more fun and there's more magic involved. Hey, everybody, we're pooling our consciousnesses here at STARCARD Podcast. hopefully for a good and positive aim. Okay. All right. There's the 5 of Swords. Naturally, there's going to be a fight, says the 5 of Swords. Call back. He was a lefty. I know that's like after the swing, everybody. All right. That's what I think. I always thought that looked weird. Or maybe, you know what it could be? This could be like a negative image printed on the card. That makes more sense. I mean, especially the way you're looking at the picture of Babe swinging right there. All right. And then finally, yeah, as much as you can imagine. So the subject we're talking about reveals some, promise of a new opportunity and a new understanding of who we are. There's going to be conflict about it as much as you can imagine. Am I still on the air? They didn't take me down yet? Okay, so we'll see if I get a warning in my email box later. I'm just teasing. Hey, Tarot World, that was pretty cool. I'm feeling pretty good about how you're throwing the cards and how I'm understanding what you're trying to say. That's pretty cool. Let me give these cards a toss, and then we're going to go to the chat just like we used to back in the old days. 2 days ago, and we're going to get some audience readings done. I want to apologize to everyone from yesterday. We'll call it an act of God, and then I'm sorry if I see. I'm going to do my best to get you a reading today, but I don't know what we can say about yesterday. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow's another one. Today is the first day of the rest of our lives. So let's get my notebook out. Here we go. Number 1. Whoa! Rob Khalil is in the house. Sweet. Yeah, Rob. Awesome. I'm going to get you a reading, Rob. Number 1 fan. Hey, everybody, we got a celebrity in the chat. That's cool. And number 2. Hey, Silent Dreamer, you're number 2. Okay. Welcome, Silent Dreamer. Thanks for being here. Okay. And let's see here. Jason H, I see you. Yeah. Live long and prosper, brother. Nice. Let's see. I'm trying to look for top fan number 3 or Tarot, please. Sally Forth. Hi, Sally Forth. Thank you. I'm going to go upstairs here with the chat. I'm not reading it. I get to read it after the show, everybody. You know I love it. Great reading material. Let me continue here. I'm looking for number 3. It was Sally Forth. Oh, okay. Now I'm going to look around for any more capital letters saying tarot, please, or reading, please. And then I also know I got some good friends in the chat who know when to send a message when I got my eyeball in the bottom corner and let me know if I missed anybody. Okay. Okay, Maria Madrigal. Okay. Hey, Maria Madrigal. Sure. And I got Sally Forth. Good. Let me get down to Maria Madrigal. Okay. Real Glow Up. Hello, Real Glow Up. I see your top fan number 3. Raising your hand. I'm going to put you down for a reading. Real Glow Up. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us. All right. So now, everybody, I'm just going to be eyeball on the bottom corner while I'm throwing these cards. But here are the names I got. I got Rob, Silent Dreamer, Sally Forth, Maria Madrigal, and Real Glow Up. Nice. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for participating. Thanks for, inviting me to read. I love the practice, right? And I know the tarot world wants to express itself as well. It's got special messages for everybody. First up is for you, Rob. Look at what you created. I'm a monster. I'm a tarot monster. I'm bringing it. Okay. Hi, Mr. A. I see you in the chat. Thanks for joining me again. That's awesome. All right. These cards are from my friend Rob. Also, we'll take care of Rob first. Hey, Tarot World. I'm so happy to say my friend Rob in Pennsylvania is out, and I bet we could give him a fun, helpful message. He's doing God's work out there, bringing targeted individuals and secret space program experiences and people with sacred knowledge on the air. He helped me connect with you, so you must be in his Rolodex. How about a helpful, fun message from my friend Rob? By the way, Rob Khalil is one of the very few people who's checked out the STARCARD podcast episode where Breakaway Ray sings doo-wop. Thanks a lot, Rob. Yeah, in the last 3 minutes of life, that was a good one. These cards are for my friend Rob. He's having a good time out there in Pennsylvania, broadcasting sacred knowledge. He's a real trailblazer, and he's everybody's friend. It's amazing. He's got a lot of good karma he's using, sharing those messages with everyone. These cards are for you, Rob. This is for entertainment purposes only. All right, here we go. Yeah, Rob, it's the Tower card. This kind of, it's like your whole mission in life, to tell everybody about the spirit world. I learned about it from you. I didn't know nothing about tarot till I was watching Typical Skeptic podcast. By the way, so while Rob is here, another book commercial, okay? So while Rob is here, okay, and I've got the Tower card up, I want to refer you all to the description again, because in the description is the second book I published. I published it so recently, I don't have a copy of it yet. It's called Let's Go Off Planet with Breakaway Ray. And a lot of that book is dialogue and speeches presented on the Typical Skeptic podcast with Rob. There's pictures of me and Rob together. So I invite you all to check out that book, support Rob's show. Go subscribe on his channel if you're not already there. All right, Rob, let's continue with your reading and your mission. Here we go. Next up. All right. The Nine of Swords talks about anxiety. Let's read some more on the Nine of Swords because I think it actually applies directly. I mean, without the reverse meaning. Anxiety, worry, fear, depression, nightmares, insomnia, hopelessness, trauma, and despair. Well, if you watch the Typical Skeptic podcast, sometimes those terms come to life on his show with his very brave and knowledgeable guests. Whether they're sharing information or sharing personal experiences, they're sharing a trauma in a lot of cases and how they've dealt with it and how they've spiritually overcome it, right? This is like a commercial for Typical Skeptic podcast. Also on Rumble, okay? Yeah, how about some more conflict? The Five of Wands talks about a conflict. Rob doesn't get in a conflict with his guests, but the content of his show creates a conflict. Just ask him how many times his channels got taken down and demonetized. Ugh. All right. So, hey, Rob, we're getting all this stuff out of the way, but you know what? If you're going to go knocking down walls, you can expect people to be upset about it. But by the way, you got a lot of support. I know you know that. So here comes the support. Yeah, you're one of the architects of the war on spiritual poverty. The Five of Pentacles is something good here at STARCARD Podcast. You know, the work that you do led to the work that I'm doing here at STARCARD with all of our friends watching and all of our subscriber friends. All right, see, the story is working out for us. Let's keep it going. It's a new project, says the Ace of Pentacles. Let's read about it. This is the Ace of Pentacles, and it's the currency of our desire. And I know we would love to have just cold hard cash, but let's not forget, you know, if our goal in life is to spread this hidden knowledge, nobody's giving you or me a better opportunity. You know, your channel and my channel, these are gifts from God. Let's read about the Ace of Pentacles. Abundance, manifestation, opportunity, new career or financial opportunity, new venture, prosperity. These cards are for Rob. Yeah. Ooh, the Empress. This is like being at grandma's house for the holidays. There's a lot of comfort involved. You know, we're being given a gift from God. It's almost like a gift from Santa Claus. You know, we're sitting on the floor in grandma's house on Christmas morning. The Empress reads, abundance, nurturing, fertility, feminine, good parenting, development, accomplishment, growth, evolution, and action. I like the action word, but I also heard abundance 2 times, I think. Next up, yeah, Rob, check it out. Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is the happy surprise guy. You know, happy surprise. Your Rolodex is, you know, thousands of people thick, and, you know, you've done more than 2,200 shows over at Typical Skeptic Podcast. What a pleasant surprise. How did it happen? All you did was work, you know, and put out a couple of shows every day of the week. I wish we had politicians that worked as hard as you and had as much character for that matter. Hey, Rob, the Three of Pentacles talks about a teamwork card. For sure, you couldn't have gone anywhere without your subscribers and viewers and your guests. So the Three of Pentacles talks about teamwork. And what a surprise, what a happy surprise. There's a huge community over at Typical Skeptic Podcast, everybody. Why don't you join it? It's a lot of fun. It's very interesting. UFO, paranormal, and Rob Khalil, the legendary Rob Khalil, he interviewed everybody. If he hasn't interviewed somebody, that somebody is nobody. All right, let's see who's next. Thanks, Rob. Silent Dreamer is next. So I tell you what, everybody, I'm going to give these a toss. And then before I find out what the tarot world has to say to Silent Dreamer, I got to take a little tea break. Time out. I'll let you check out the furniture. I mean, I decorate the studio just for you. I'm thinking about putting the Christmas tree up early because it's going to look good. But anyway, one moment, please. 2 minute break. Time out. Hey, you know what? This globe is supposed to be spinning. That's better. Oh, yeah. Here you go, everybody. Remember this from yesterday? All right. Silent Dreamer, let's go. Let's go to the tarot cam. Hey, Tarot World. As usual, all your throws are awesome. Do you have a fun, helpful message for our friend Silent Dreamer, please? Silent Dreamer. I'm so happy we could throw cards for Silent Dreamer. These cards are for Silent Dreamer. Silent Dreamer. These cards are for Silent Dreamer, please. Oh, okay. These cards are for Silent Dreamer. These are for Silent Dreamer. Okay, and you get one more. Cool. All right, Silent Dreamer. This is for entertainment purposes only. If it's fun and inspiring, that's great. And if it's accurate, that's gravy. I will only know if I'm accurate if someone puts some kind of confirmation message in the chat. Because as I've said so many times, I am new at this stuff. I've only been doing it since March. It's not like I know if I'm correct or not. But I do enjoy telling stories based on the cards that I see. And here I go. Coming up first, the Death card indicates there's some kind of change, some kind of transformation. It talks about endings and beginnings. All right. These cards are for you, Silent Dreamer. Very interesting. Tarot World wants you to know there's a change coming up, or maybe you're involved in it right now. Oh, it's the Five of Swords guy again. He's like been a star the last couple of days. The Five of Swords talks about conflict. Let me read you what it says on the card. Maybe it's got a special message that you'll understand. Conflict, disagreements, competition, defeat, winning at all costs, sneakiness, bullies, theft, and abusive relationships. Well, maybe there's some good news. There's going to be a change in some kind of situation where maybe we're going to find peace finally. I'm hoping there's like a treaty here. Well, maybe what happens is there's going to be recognition of what's going on, and that's going to be the change. I'm just making a suggestion based on what these cards tend to mean. There's going to be some kind of change, and it's all going to come out in the open. Everyone's going to see it. Says the Six of Wands. Let's go to the second one, Silent Dreamer. This is a fun, helpful message. Yay, it's the Page of Cups. He talks about a happy surprise. Let's read what it says on the card. Maybe there's an extra bonus message for you here. Creative opportunities, intuitive messages, curiosity, possibility, happy surprise, dreamer. Hey, here's your name. Sensitivity and new love. Well, you know what it could be. I mean, because we are here at STARCARD Podcast, it could be, you know, you're getting a change because you've been, you know, fighting to contact the spiritual world. And finally, you know, you're going to recognize that that's what you've been doing. It's going to be a pleasant surprise. You're going to be bestowed with some gifts. Look at that great gift that the Page of Cups has. It's a cup and it's got a fish in it, I think. It's got your name on this card, Silent Dreamer. Okay, next up. Oh, so it's the Devil card. I try hard not to react, you know, but the imagery is quite intimidating. The Devil card mostly talks about letting go of things we don't need. And for those that are new, please allow me to tell you and to point out to you that the Devil card has two people with chains around their necks. And the chains are not that tight. They can either just lift the chains over their heads and be free. They can just let go and go, okay? But I will read, Silent Dreamer, what it says on the card in case there's other clues that, you know, you could connect some dots with. The Devil card reads shadow self, attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality, temptation, seduction, destructive behavior, materialism, codependency, and toxicity. So remember how we were talking about the spirit world? You know, you've been fighting, you know, for a chance to gain access to the spirit world. Maybe you're recognizing it. It's a pleasant surprise, but part of the surprise is there's a shadow self. But that doesn't mean that, you know, that you can't employ the shadow self. You can use the energy of the shadow self to create your magic. Okay, it's not a bad thing. It's more like finally recognizing, you know, there's more to it, and I'm still in charge. And here is the King of Cups who reads. See, you got the Devil card, and then you follow up with the King of Cups. It's like, hey, Dad, I got a problem. No problem, honey. I'll be right out to help you. The King of Cups. Emotionally balanced, compassion, diplomatic, control, balance, supportive leader, tolerance, empathic. And then finally, oh, Father's Day, it's a King of Pentacles. Wow. The King of Pentacles talks about wealth, business, leadership, security, discipline, abundance, prosperity, and generosity. Both of these are leadership. And the pleasant surprise is that once you negotiate with that shadow self and the dark world and dark energies, not only are you going to, you know, be a leader people can count on, but it might bring you wealth. Maybe you're an aspiring podcaster and, you know, trendsetter yourself, and you're discovering your spiritual world and your talents, your psychic talents. Congratulations. You know, it's an honor to meet you. So anyway, I hope my reading was entertaining. Maybe it was informative anyway, just learning about the cards and how I read them. And if it was accurate, that's great also. So again, I wish you good luck and congratulations. That's great. Next up, it's Sally Ford. Hey, Silent Dreamer. Thanks for that comment. I'm so excited. Really, I'm so excited. That's wonderful. Thanks so much. Yeah, made my day too. You believe me. All right, but let's take care of our friend Sally Ford. Right on, Sally Ford. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. Here we go. Tarot World. Those soda bubble hearts in the chat are for you too. Okay. Thanks a lot for that fun, helpful message. Could we please have another one? Thank you, sir. May we have another for Sally Forth, please? These cards are for Sally Forth. A fun, helpful message for Sally Forth, please. Thank you. A fun, happy, helpful message for Sally Forth, please. For our friend Sally Forth. All right, Sally. All right, I'm going to give you one more. You know what? I got to get, there we go. That's better. And the bonus one up there. All right, so these are for Sally Forth. Starting off with the Chariot, getting things going today. The number 7, huh? That's a special soul number. It means you have to teach also. Okay, the Page of Cups showed up again. Happy surprise. Did you know you were a teacher, a spiritual leader? And then the 8 of Wands says you must be on your way to work to teach people what you know. I mean, but this is like the tarot world confirming either you're teaching something in the 3D or, you know, you just have to model, you know how when you have the catwalk, for example, or you have those special classes where people learn how to, cotillion and also to walk properly, and they balance a book on their head and they're demonstrating poise or what have you. So what I would say is even if you're not going on the internet like I am, for example, and sharing all the stuff in your own brain, we often teach each other and we teach others by the way we hold ourselves and the way we compose ourselves. So anyway, the universe trusts that you understand poise, and you should keep going on whatever you're doing because you're almost right there. I'm taking the spiritual angle. And then we have the Ace of Swords coming up, talking about truth. The Ace of Swords, mental clarity, breakthroughs, new ideas, success, sharp mind. It also says new conflict and surgery. So there may be something to that. I'm looking at the Ace of Swords card. I'm looking at the hand holding the sword, and I see like the vibration around it, the little white glow. And, that's that invisible world we don't see. That's the plasma. But remember, you can control the plasma, which is 90% of the universe. You just use your intent. So you have to show, I'm suggesting showing poise, just as a matter of fact, as we go through our daily lives, that's a great message for everybody. But also, let's mold our inner poise as well. Don't forget to train that part. Yeah, I'm trying to make this sound positive and fun. The Ten of Swords says it's the end of a painful episode. So now stiff upper lip, the hard part's over. Then it's the homecoming, Four of Wands. Yay. So, the hard part's over. It's time to come home. Everyone's going to be there. There's going to be music. There's going to be dancing. And then there's going to be that incomplete gazebo that we're looking at there with the Four of Wands. Oh, yeah. See? And there you go. The Sun card says everything's going to be all right. I love reading the Sun card. Listen to all these fun terms. Even if you have a new unexpected task in life that involves the spirit world, the hard part's over, you're coming home, and the Sun card says, welcome home. Here's a hug, positivity, pleasure, happiness, vitality, fun, joy, warmth, celebration, success, rebirth, and all is well. Yeah, that guy's riding the horse, letting loose. Woohoo! Okay, and then finally, it's the King of Pentacles, who talks about wealth and leadership and also security and discipline and abundance and generosity, for that matter. We really, come into an inheritance of some kind where in the long run, everything's going to be totally groovy and people are going to be partying at your house. Anyway, here's one more card for you. Oh, man, I hope it's a good one. Oh, yeah, it sure is. It's a Two of Cups. I'll read the terms on the card, and I know Sally Forth knows what I want to say about this card. The Two of Cups says, unified love, partnership, mutual attraction, proposal, marriage, and connection. So that may, in fact, mean something to Sally Forth. Nobody has to give me details. Don't forget, everybody, this is a public video. You don't have to share personal details about your life in public like this at all. Sally Forth knows this. Nevertheless, I want to say this card also, to me, the Two of Cups means a connection with the spirit world. And look at where it shows up. It shows up at the very end of the message. This has been a call from the tarot world. This message is for you, Sally Forth. The Two of Cups makes me think of two people in a split screen and video talking on the phone. Okay, that's been like a long association of mine with the Two of Cups. Sally Forth knows this. Anyway, thanks again, Sally Forth, for inviting me to read for you. I sure appreciate it. Sounds like you're going to have a good day, whether somebody likes it or not. Oh, I realized I didn't even get to Charles Lindberg yet. We're going to run a little long on the show. So I'm going to take care of Maria Madrigal. And then, sorry, there was another person there. Real Glow Up. I'm going to take care of those two. But in order to, do the whole description thing justice, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to close with Charles Lindberg. And then we'll see just how much time I have left, or how much I got left in me for any further audience readings. But anyway, we'll close with that one when we get there. But right now, this is for Maria Madrigal. Okay, so yeah, you're welcome, Sally Forth. Thanks for that message. Hey, Maria Madrigal, thank you for your message. One card, See, the capital letters help me. Got it. Yeah, thank you, Sally Forth. I'm really gratified. I appreciate it. So anyway, Tarot World, more confirmation from us. I know you know what's going on. I'm just an interpreter here. I'm the translator. So anyway, our friend Maria Magical's in the house. She's an enthusiastic supporter. She's getting your word out. So I know you have a special card for Maria Magical, please. How about a card for Maria Magical? Is that the card? Okay. Here you go, Maria Magical. Yay. It's the Ace of Cups. Your cup is overflowing. How wonderful. Great. Let's read what it says on the card. Ace of Cups, love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, and marriage. All right, very nice, Maria Magical. And then, oh, wait a second, Maria Magical. There could be more to this. I'm looking at the Ace of Cups reverse, and it's got the letter M on the cup, right? As in Maria Magical. Maybe that's a clue. I need to look at the reverse side for something. Let's check it out. Is there something else there? I'm checking and I'm self-editing, right? Let me check and see. Well, you know what? I see self-love and intuition. So those may also apply. We're staying positive on this one. Yeah, right on. Next up, it's Real Glow Up. Yeah, very good. Thank you, Maria Magical and Real Glow Up. And so Real Glow Up, I believe this is our first time doing a reading. So let's get you some nice cards, Real Glow Up. Appreciate your participation. How nice. I want to thank everyone in the chat for being so kind to me and to each other. But hey, Tarot World, do you have a fun, helpful message for our friend, Real Glow Up, please? Thank you very much. Here we go. A message for Real Glow Up, please. Real Glow Up. A helpful, fun message for Real Glow Up, please. For Real Glow Up. These cards are for Real Glow Up. Real Glow Up. Brand new deck, everybody. Real Glow Up. These cards are for Real Glow Up. Yeah, okay, good. Hey, this is for entertainment purposes only. If you're still tuned in, you're having fun like me. Here we go. Wow, we're going to make it fun and positive. It's the Four of Cups. Let's read what it says on the card. Meditation, contemplation, apathy, re-evaluation, and disconnected. You got a guy sitting under a tree. Everything looks cool, but he's looking at 3 cups saying, there's something missing. But the universe is saying, hey, here's the 4th cup. Would you please pay attention? We're right here giving you what you need. Next up, you take what the universe gives you. It gives you what you need. And then the 7 of Pentacles says you make it grow. And this is one of the best farmers ever. You can see all that money growing on his tree. He's good at that stuff. Okay. You have the skills to take the gifts the universe gives you and turn it into something valuable. Let's see what it says here. Long-term view, hard work, perseverance, diligence, sustainable results, and investment. Invest your time. Take what you know and make it worth something. Apply it. That's like the big thing in teaching is, these kids have this knowledge. Great. Let's see if they can apply it. Once they can apply it, then we know that they've learned something. Okay. The moon card shows up and suggests that there's some intuition involved, but I'll go ahead and read what it says on the card. I'm also drawn to the picture of the 2 dogs. They're both barking at the moon. They could be talking right to each other. But anyway, they're barking at the moon, 2 of them. Let's go to the moon card and says, illusion, mystery, dreams, intuition, fear, anxiety, subconscious, and premonitions. If this were a story about, acquiring psychic skills, gee, I wish I was psychic. I worked hard at it. Now all of a sudden I've got all this intuition, and the justice card says everything is balanced. That's cause and effect. You made the intent, put it forth in the plasma and the ether around you. I'm trying to develop my psychic skills. For example, I cultivated them. Bam, now I can talk to the moon. That's cause and effect. Next up, King of Swords says that's totally correct. 100% true. Mental clarity, leadership in truth. The Four of Swords says meditation, relaxation, rejuvenation. I bet you feel like a new person after acquiring those new skills or reacquiring them, remembering them. And the Eight of Swords says as much as you can imagine. I bet you feel like a new person as much as you can imagine. It's going to make you feel unbelievable to start accessing 4D and the astral world and spirit world around you. Anyway, that's how I talk here at STARCARD Podcast. I hope like those dynamics or those energies, rang a bell for you, or at minimum made you smile. Thank you very much, Real Glow Up, for inviting me to read. I do appreciate it. I love the practice. Okay, so Jason, I see your Jason, I see you just rang up for a reading. I'm anyway. I'm trying hard not to read the chat so I don't get distracted. I feel like I'm on a bucking bronco, like when you're in those cowboy bars and you're riding the bull or whatever. But I need to take a time out because to be true to my description, I do have to do one more tarot thing. And that was, I was going to do a Tarotpedia on Charles Lindbergh, the aviator. So I will go back to the chat in a little bit. I did do all the readings that I said I'm going to do that I wrote down names for. So anyway, please let me do one more because here, first of all, I did Mel Brooks a couple of days ago, and I thought since Mel Brooks is still alive, maybe the tarot world could show us an inner world and an outer world. And it did, but it also told us and showed us they were pretty much aligned. And then yesterday in the Lost Babe Ruth episode, we did Babe Ruth. And since Babe Ruth is dead, we seem to have accessed his inner world and the whole architecture behind his life plan to be Babe Ruth. And that was pretty remarkable. So now in this time, I'm picking Charles Lindbergh, and I want to focus on just his life on Earth. Just his life. I mean, obviously it's going to be tied to the astral world, right? But he's quite a mysterious person in lots of ways. Charles Lindbergh, born in 1902, died in 1974. He was born, by the way, I think in Detroit, Michigan, old world, Detroit, Michigan, woo! Great music town. Rock City, right? Bay City Rollers, is that right? So anyway, I'm getting all off task here. Charles Lindbergh, I did a biography of him in like 4th grade. I was reading again, the word Reader's Digest comes up. I was reading a Reader's Digest version of his journal, his diary, when he was flying across the Atlantic Ocean. Charles Lindbergh, it is said in history, was the first person to fly the Spirit of St. Louis, was the name of his airplane, from the eastern seaboard of the United States and Canada across the Atlantic Ocean by himself with some coffee and sandwiches, trying to stay awake more than 48 hours, and he landed in Paris, France. So I would just qualify his story. He was the first person to do it in a gas-powered plane, okay? Because in his childhood, they had just shut down the flying machines, which we're not going to get into today, right? The Zeppelins and those things. So anyway, Charles Lindbergh, first of all, I'm sorry to say, I didn't look it up. I didn't study this part, but I know that there was a kidnapping involved in his life. Here in the United States, there was an episode about the Lindbergh baby. Oh my goodness. They kidnapped Charles Lindbergh's baby. That must have been, very scary, and they got him just because he was a hero. He was a celebrity. He was targeted. Right? That's terrible. So I'm sorry to say, however it ended, you don't have to remind me in the chat. Anyway, it was a sad story. But now I got another story to tell you about Charles Lindbergh. I didn't know that he was a polygamist of sorts. He had a secret family in Europe. I can't remember if he was actually living in France or Germany, but he had a family over there. So I guess like when he was in Europe on business, he had a family there. And then when, he had to leave his family in Europe to go back to America to do business, okay, he had his family over there. I'm pretty sure, that that's something that you could fact check. And that kind of surprised me, because Charles Lindbergh was a big hero of mine. But then again, I got to knock down my own walls here. I have to be mature and grown up. Welcome to Planet Earth, Breakaway Ray. People hurt each other's feelings and they break promises. So have integrity and just take care of yourself. So what I want to do now is I want to see if we can we can go to the Tarotpedia, trademark that, Breakaway Ray. Let's go to the Tarotpedia and let's ask about Charles Lindbergh. All right, so we're going to ask about his inside world. Charles Lindbergh, contemporary of Babe Ruth and of my grandparents. And then, of course, his outside world, Charles Lindbergh's outside world, that's all stuff we know about. You know, his flight across the Atlantic. He was a famous aviator. He was a celebrated individual like Babe Ruth. And then what was going on the inside? I don't know if the tarot cards can reveal anything, you know, what was going through his mind and heart while he was still alive as Charles Lindbergh. All right, let's go to THROW-PEDIA. And then I'm going to throw cards for Jason, but I think I'm done after this. All right. Hello, THROW-PEDIA. Thank you, Tarot World, for giving us such good information. So based on the things that we talked about with Charles Lindbergh, is there a way we could look at timelines of his outside world and his inside world as Charles Lindbergh, the famous aviator? Gee, he was, what a diversion. Because if he was making that flight, I think it was in the 1930s. Wasn't that when certain group in Europe was already like, well, I guess there were groups around the planet that were already like going to space, you know, as anti-gravity and electrogravitics and electromagnetism became like an unknown secret science. They privatize it. But anyway, we're back on Charles Lindbergh. Could you please show us an outer world, inner world, dual timeline story about Charles Lindbergh, please? Charles Lindbergh, the famous aviator. Yes, please. Outer and inner world. Charles Lindbergh. Wow, that is interesting. Charles Lindbergh and the Spirit of St. Louis, famous celebrity of the early 20th century. Possibly a polygamist. Charles Lindbergh. His outer and inner world. Thank you, THROW-PEDIA. What do we got going? And a final message. Here we go. Mr. A asked for a reading. Oh, okay, good. I'm sorry I missed it. Thanks, Sally Forth. All right, Jason and Mr. A, that's on recording. So anyway, let's continue now. The outside world for Charles Lindbergh. Dun, 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 dun. The Three of Wands. You don't get to be a famous aviator without a lot of preparation. I know he flew many different craft. Remember, I read that book when I was a kid. The Three of Wands says, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. He was prepared as an aviator, and the opportunity came forward, and he got in that plane. And then the Queen of Pentacles, he was kind of like a working parent of sorts. You know, he's having fun with the plane, but he's helping the plane cross the ocean. So in a way, the way an equestrian rides a horse, you know, he was riding a plane. The plane itself had a consciousness, and he was guiding it across the ocean, and the plane was making it happen. Yes, for sure. That flight across the ocean, I remember that distinctly when I was reading the book when I was a kid, about how he was trying to stay awake, and he had to be careful not to dream and to daydream too much. He was drinking coffee, and his feet were cold because there was no heating in the plane. He was just trying to stay warm by the heat of the engine. And it was almost like a rickety craft, a flimsy craft, because it had to be light so that they didn't use up all the fuel. And it was a long flight through the dark. He was flying at night, and he had to do all his navigation at night. It was hard to see. What can I say? In that sense, it was a very brave and heroic thing. Makes me think of Evel Knievel, another daredevil of sorts. That's the outside world. And then I guess you could say, here's the Four of Cups again. At the conclusion of his life, despite his celebrityhood, I guess there always seemed to be something missing. For sure, a member of his family went missing, and he must have felt like something was missing if he felt like he needed to have a second family, if that's what really happened. But I guess no matter which family you're with, you're always going to be missing the other one, if that's how the cards are being read. So if this kind of confirms what we understand about the public record of Charles Lindbergh, the aviator, I wonder what's going on the inside. Temperance. He's pouring one cup into another. going from Europe to America, back and forth. He's got check that out. He's got 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on land. Or if you like, he had 1 foot in the air and 1 foot on land, right? He was in 2 elements. He was also on 2 continents with 2 families, going back and forth, switching back and forth. So is that what troubled him, huh? Is that the schizophrenia he felt? The Knight of Swords. He still had a passion and a drive. Again, you don't get to be an aviator and as celebrated as he was and as qualified as he was without being daring and energetic and going after your goals. So he had the 2 family thing going on, going back and forth. He had the 2 element thing going on between earth and air. And he had that passion, that drive. You're watching STARCARD podcast. Who else does biographies about people's outer worlds and inner worlds than Breakaway Ray? The STARCARD indicates that Charles Lindberg was full of hope and was always looking to the sky. I mean, the sky is definitely tempting. I realized that the card is looking at the water also. From the sky, he's looking down at the water. That was how he guided his plane. I can tell you that much, seeing where the North Star was in relation to the ocean and its horizon. And then finally, judgment. Judgment involves swapping out old energies for new energies. Again, I'm feeling like a little flip-flop here with the 2 continents and the 2 elements, and then the 2 families, the swapping out the old for the new. But then also something else that I see here with the judgment card is, in lots of ways, the angel making that racket up in the skies. That's more like it, isn't it? That looks like, hey, it's Charles Lindbergh up in the sky blowing his horn saying, check it out, look up here. We can all fly. And everyone's looking up at the plane in the sky. Anyway, well done, Tarot World. I think I follow you. You get the last word. It's the Ace of Pentacles. It was a special lifetime for Charles Lindbergh, filled with opportunity. It was a gift from God. And let's read what else it says here. Abundance, manifestation, new career or financial opportunity, new venture, prosperity. I would say it's like going to an amusement park and having, an unlimited amount of tickets to use. He sure had a good time. What an interesting, fascinating life for that aviator. We are going to take care of Jason, my main man, Jason. Thank you, Tarot World. And then Mr. A asked for a reading also. All right. I'm so excited. This makes up for yesterday. I was bummed yesterday. All right. I was only bummed a little bit. So let's try again. Mr. A and Jason first. Jason first. Hey, Jason. So remember how we were talking about Anthony Mackie, Jason, and you told me about that show that I've never seen before, Altered Carbon, how they transfer the consciousness digitally and deliberately, and Anthony Mackie stars in that show. And then I said I'd never seen it before, which is true. I've never seen it. I just seen a commercial for it. But then I wrote a story, which shows up in Let's Go Off Planet with Breakaway Ray. The Amazon link is in the description. And I talked about how I have a main character that's based on Anthony Mackie, and his consciousness gets adapted and put into an artificial intelligence system that runs kitchens and commissaries. So then, I never let a thought go, Jason. I kept on thinking about it. Well, you know what? Guess what? I bet Anthony Mackie's consciousness has already been hijacked. He's already out there. But then, you know what? So are probably all of us tuning in the STARCARD podcast. These cards are for Jason, the magician, Jason, everybody's friend in the chat. Thank you, Jason, for your support. Jason was one of my first subscribers. Right on, Jason. Jason's had very dramatic readings here at STARCARD podcast. Oh, boy. He had the kind of cards you hope to get when you're playing poker in Vegas. And we're going to give Jason a dessert card over there. All right, Jason. Thanks again for requesting a reading. These cards are for Jason. The 3 of Pentacles, it's the collaboration and teamwork card. That's how Jason operates. Okay. And then the Hierophant indicates learning and social acceptance. The Ace of Cups feels like we've seen this guy before. Talks about, I'll just read right off the card. Love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, and marriage. And the Queen of Swords says, you were right. Perhaps you are collaborating with people and you've learned that there's a great new opportunity. And this is confirmation you're right. There's a great opportunity, a great, well, yeah. And again, you may be right. If that's what you're asking, yeah, you're right. So here's the second part of the message. Wow, what's with the card? Four of Cups shows up. I'll read what it says on the card. I think the tarot world is asking me to study this card. The Four of Cups talks about meditation, contemplation, apathy, reevaluation, and a sense of being disconnected. Then, wow, the Four of Pentacles shows up, and this guy talks about holding on to what's dear to you. And notice there's two fours right there, since we're in Vegas, right? And you also got the Justice card. If it feels like there's something missing, hold on to what's important and valuable to you. And that's what's right, I suggest, says the Justice card. The Justice card talks about fairness, truth, clarity, equality, balance, cause and effect, and law. There's cause and effect and law, but I was talking about balance. You know, this guy doesn't feel balanced. This guy, let's read what it says on the card. Four of Pentacles, saving money, security, conservation, scarcity, control, and frugality. Does it look like there's something missing? Are we coming up short somewhere? Pinch your pennies, save for a rainy day. That's how we're going to balance things out. And the final card says, yeah, you're going to take what you got and you're going to cultivate it, says the Seven of Pentacles. And then you're going to have a long-term view and look at how it's going to flourish. That's outstanding. So the Seven of Pentacles says long-term view, hard work, perseverance, diligence, sustainable results, and investment. Jason, I hope those were helpful or at least entertaining. And thank you very much for everything, Jason. Sweet. All right, Jason, I appreciate it so much. Thanks a lot. And then finally, let's take care of Mr. A. All right, Mr. A. I'm going to rock some cards for you. And, oh, yeah, we're going to go out with style. Hey, Tarot World. If you got any fireworks left, now's the time to shoot them off. Mr. A wants a reading, please. How about a fun, helpful message for Mr. A? Same guy. Mr. A, a fun, helpful message, please, to finish the show today. Ooh, it's a long one. Wow, we had fun today. Made it up for yesterday. We can all remember the missing, lost Babe Ruth episode. These cards are for Mr. A. Here we go, Tarot World. Thank you so much for everything. It's been a great school timber. These cards are from Mr. A. Mr. A. These cards are from Mr. A. Okay. It's the Four of Cups again. Okay, see the magic that happens? All right, there's the fireworks, everybody. Tarot fireworks. Let's read the Four of Cups again. Meditation, contemplation, apathy, reevaluation, disconnected. Oh, the Lover's card showed up. So the Lover's card, I'll start right off by reminding people or telling people if you're new. The Lover's card tells me that the tarot world's right here and we're sending a message, that we love you and that we're taking care of you. So, maybe you feel like there's something missing, but no, the spirit world's right here giving you a big hug, okay? You're not going anywhere without the spirit world. You know what? The spirit world's with you probably even when you don't want the spirit world around. It's there the whole time. Okay. It reminds me of that old song about Santa Claus, okay? He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake, okay? And then the Hierophant. Maybe you're just learning about this. Maybe you're just learning about this dynamic. I mean, a little bit like I am. You're all, what? There's ghosts around me the whole time? I sound like Scooby-Doo. What? There's a ghost? Okay. Shaggy. Okay. I didn't do a good Scooby-Doo there. Next up, it's the Four of Pentacles again. Save for a rainy day. Hold on to what's precious to you. Find what's valuable and don't let go. Yeah. You know what? Are you feeling disconnected? The spirit world is right here. We know you're learning about it. So, reach out and hold our hand. We're right with you. We're walking this path together. Okay. You're part of a team in the war on spiritual poverty, says the 5 of Pentacles. Yeah. Thanks a lot for joining my team. Thanks for enlisting at StarCard Podcast, Mr. A. Cool deal. You're the man. Next up. All right. It's the Ace of Cups. Here's your fireworks. Breakaway Ray. The Ace of Cups reads, love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, and marriage. So the 9 of Swords says there's some anxiety and insomnia, and that's what we can expect. But I love taking the 9 of Swords and turning it upside down. Okay, so then it sounds more like the Star card. Let's read the reverse. 9 of Swords, releasing worry, hope, and reaching out. Right. So, you want to win this war on spiritual poverty? Keep doing what you're doing, because you're getting a new life when you reach out to others and you have hope. Thanks for participating in the chat at StarCard Podcast. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for your comments. Thanks, everyone, for your positive vibes. As you go through your day, don't forget to look up in the sky so you can see your star. My name's Breakaway Ray. Have a great day.